And I've got a lot of chat stuff there, right? Yeah, bro. All right. Yep. Okay. Close ended. Is it plugged in? Let's just go. I'll give you my definition, what I'm looking for in your assignments. So, an open ended question, you are encouraging them to sort of open up. So, that's why open ended, right? Open up and expose information that you have no idea even sort of exists. So this is kind of yeah. So it's like, as I said, an open-ended question would be, how has the printer malfunction affected your work? And you have no idea how the person is going to respond. You could end up with some personal sort of issues coming up, or relationships with our customers or with our colleagues are affected, or it gives me a headache. All kinds of answers could come out of that, and you just have no idea when you ask the question what to expect. But but sometimes that's really important, and that's what you want. You want the person to sort of take control of the information flow, so that you get something a better you get a better handle on what's going on. So that's an open ended. They could write a book to answer it. You can think of it that way. It's and you have no idea what this book is going to be. Right. So that's open-ended. The close-ended, that's where we are narrowing them down to a very, very specific answer, and it could be yes, no, as you say, or it could be a number. So a close-ended, did you go to work yesterday? Well, you either did or you didn't, right? Yeah, yes, no. But it doesn't have to be yes, no. It could also be a very specific fact, which is answered shortly. For example, what is your name? You know what I mean? My name is Mark Floden. That's actually a close-ended question without a yes, no. But I can't. I'm not going to be able to sort of talk for hours about what my name is. Well, I probably could if I wanted to go into the meanings of the names and stuff like that, but that wasn't what the question was. Likewise, what is your date of birth? Duh. It's there's only one little answer for that. And so that's a closed-ended question. So I hope that sort of explains. That's what I'm expecting you to do with your open-ended and closed-ended questions. So 6 questions, keeping it simple. This is being used to diagnose. So diagnose means you want to get down to the root cause of what this incident is. So what you want to do is you want to gather information about the printer malfunction that will help you to decide what it is that's causing the malfunction. So this actually requires you to use a little bit of creativity, that you're going to have to come up with, okay, so what do I know about printers? And you might have to do a little bit of research about printers, right? But you should know that printers are connected to networks, typically, or they could be connected directly to a computer. So that's one of the questions you could ask. Where is this printer connected? Does it have an IP address? Okay, and then you can have some questions which will help you determine if it's a network problem, and or you could have some questions that determine if it's an account problem, right? So does you can narrow this down just by asking things like, are the other people on your floor having the same problem, or is it just you? Is anybody else having the problem? Because that could be a configuration issue for the or a switch issue. If it's just you, still could be a configuration issue. So then you could ask questions like, what tests have you done on the printer? When was the last time that it worked for you? These types of things. So, I mean, I'm sure you can find lots of information to help you with that, and talk to people that that are doing the hardware course, because this is a hardware type question. So that's what you need to do. So that's the first one, diagnose printer incidents. The next one is coach, sorry, a
Mister, I have
service.
question
Yes.
for diagnose printer incident. We have to be at the same time an agent and a customer, right?
Uh, this one here, you're looking at it from the point of view of the agent. Yes. Not, she is, keep it simple. Prepare it.
Like all I need is just here. I remove this paragraph and I write only six questions. That's all. Nothing else.
That's right, from that paragraph. But it's from the point of view of the agent. So eh, we want to get the point of view of the customer, but the question is coming from the agent. So you imagine that you are the agent and you are talking to a customer and asking them questions. Now, when we say a customer, that person is probably an internal customer. That means a colleague of yours that is having problem with their printer, or it could be that you're on a cloud service desk, and yeah, that you're servicing them through the cloud. But yeah, the customer is the person who's having the problem with the printer, and you're asking them questions which will help you to diagnose what's wrong with the printer. The customer is not the agent; you are the agent.
So
Uh,
that's all. All you want is here just questions, six questions, nothing less, nothing more.
6 questions that'll help you to determine what is the problem. Yes.
Okay.
Two, three open questions, which will allow them to explain at length, and three closed questions, which are, and it doesn't have to be yes, no. It could be, what is the IP address? Or how did you log in? Or can I have your password? Well, don't say. Probably they'll say no, but you know what I mean. That kind of thing. All right. The coach is service agent analyst, sorry, service desk agilent to keep it positive. You're a team leader, so imagine you're working in the service desk and you have to talk to your fellow agents. Um, Now, what's happening is that your colleague has spoken to a customer in an inappropriate way. And so what you need to do is you need to sort of say, well, these are things that you can say, and these are things that you can't say to customers. And there's a few slides in our in one of the slide decks that sort of spoke on this directly. There's some things that we're really not allowed to say. Well, we shouldn't in a service desk. So that one should be fairly easy to sort of come up with. And okay, so this one was provided with this to us by Lisa Barnes. Thank you to her for that. And what she's done is she's given you this, we call it a constructivist marking rubric. But whenever you see something like this, always look for the thing furthest on the left. That's what you want to do. That's the goal, right? So you make sure that these are the situations with whatever you hand in, that the checklist is relevant, that it's easy to read and understand, that it has all the relevant information, that there are four examples. Four examples? Oh, that's for number four, the second question. So this is for the first question. For the second question, make sure you got your four examples and answer all the questions, showing some evidence of research. Now, for evidence of research, you should, I hope by now you get the idea. I don't know what you've done in your communication courses, but when people ask for evidence of research, what you could do is you could put a references at the end of your assignment, and there you would list where you got your information from, the information, or where you went to cross-check your information. And so you should use a standardized way of doing that. Don't just give me a whole lot of hyperlinks for showing that your research. There's standardized ways of showing where you got your information cross-checked from. You can, if you're not sure about that, look up APA or MLA standard formats. And just look, you don't need to do the full MLA or APA because it refers to lots of things like what font are you using, how do you put your headings, that type of stuff. You don't worry about that. What you really need to look at is the way they do the referencing. Let's take this in sort of reasonable steps. So find APA or MLA, look at how they do their referencing, and then implement that. Now, here's a little hint, um, hack or cheat note for you on using MLA or APA or Chicago or Harvard ways of doing things. In your Microsoft Word, which is provided to you yeah, by the Microsoft Corporation, you can use I can't remember the drop down menu for it. Let's have a look. Let's get Word going. There is a way to use a standardized sort of method that's actually built into it. So let's see, references, I think. Okay, so if you pull down that, you can use there's a style that you can use, okay? So you can use APA, Chicago, all of those are actually built into Microsoft Word. And I'm just saying pick one. For me, I use Harvard Anglia, but you could use MLA or you could use APA. And so what would happen if in your document, let's suppose I want to cite something here. So I've got this document here and I want to put a reference in there. So maybe I got this thing here at the point where I'm referencing something at this point here. Then I'm going to go and pull down my references, and I can now here I can insert a citation, or I can add to my bibliography, right? So insert citation, add a new source, and then you have a nice little form that comes up. You say who's the author, where did you get it, all that kind of stuff. So it's not like you have to spend a lot of time figuring out how to do this. You pick a style and you sort of stick with it. And so from the place where supposing I found something on the internet, um, then I choose that the type of source is a website. I might have got something from a book, and then I have a different way of referencing it, or a journal article, etc. So I know a lot of you guys are going to get stuff from the website, and so you need to do it this. Sorry, you need to choose website from the type of source, and then you'll put your author in there. The author should be on the article, or else what kind of article is it if it doesn't have an author? So you're going to put their name, and now, it even tells you how to put the name. If you've got multiple authors, you separate them with a semicolon. You put the name with the surname first and then the given names. And so it's very takes you by the hand and tells it. Now, the year is the year that it was published. There should be, if you're on a website, there should be a date there. And then the year that you accessed it, that's 2021. If you did this today, that would be January and the 27th. And then in the URL, you just copy the URL from the article that you're looking at and you put it there. Then when you're done all that and you've added all that in, when you've finished the what you're doing, you can insert the bibliography at the end of your article. So you'll go to the end of your work, and that's where you're going to put your bibliography, and you'll just sort of insert it from there. So as I said, you have a tab in your Microsoft Word. I'm sure you're using Microsoft Word, and you can choose a method. I use Harvard Anglia, but there are many others. I don't really I'm not going to penalize you for choosing MLA or APA just because I like Harvard Anglia. You can use whichever one you like as long as you're using one. But I'm not going to like it, and I probably will take off marks because if it's saying here that you're supposed to show evidence of research means that you need to insert a citation. Does that make sense? I hope it does.
Mister,
Um,
one question.
yeah.
Can you go up to question two? Here we should write only four examples.
It says at least, doesn't say only. You could put more if you wanted.
Yeah, sure. Let's suppose we are going to put seven. That's all.
That's fine. Yeah. I think there are 7 or 8 in there, right? Okay. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, good
Well,
question.
Mr. Mark,
Yes. Then the month access is January, and the day access to 27th, and then you take your URL, right? So have I got that there? Yeah, here's the URL. Control C, copy that, and put it in there. And then okay, that has now been added to the bibliography. Now if I'm at the end of my document, and problem is I got all right, so this is a bad place to do it. I'll have to undo this afterwards. But I could then put my bibliography in there. And so then I see that this is the way that it's going to be represented, right? So, I mean, you find a better place than I did there, right? But you see CNA, 2000 course notes, blah, blah, online, accessed. Now, when we're when we're getting data from a website, we have to say when we've accessed it because websites are dynamic, right? They change from time to time. And so, yeah,
So, Mr. Mark,
I'm here.
yeah, for question two, we put the slide you presented about the four phrases, at least four phrases, right?
There is a slide there. You could use that. You could use that as the as your source of information, just the way that I just did now. Yeah, of
Okay,
course.
Mr.
All right.
Like we take the chapter where this thing introduced and we put on the.
Yep, that would be good.
Okay,
So
okay,
as I said, I hope that makes sense
Mr.
to you.
Mark,
It's not hard to do. You have a references thing there. Yes, Kyril. Hello.
Mr. Mark, we can add more than one reference. Yes,
Uh,
hello. We can add more
I'm.
than one reference.
Yeah, I expect you would. Generally, yeah. Um. Yes. I was going to say the more references, the better, but that's not exactly true. It's the when somebody's looking at a paper that somebody writes, they do look at the references, right? That means that you've done some research. I won't say the more references, the better, because when you get into proper writing, uh, more references is good, but what's even better is the quality of the references. So when people look at your work, they want to see, okay, if you referenced a bunch of stuff off of Facebook or something like that, I mean, you could, or Google, you could reference a lot of stuff off there, but it's not really that great a research, right? On the other hand, if you referenced from uh, the International sort of Electronic and Electrical Engineers Society, from their things that would sort of hold more weight in terms of the research that you've done. So there's two things that people will look at, right? They'll look at, well, how many references have you made, and what was the quality of those references, and are the conclusions that you're drawing. So I mean, when you write something, you don't want to just repeat what somebody else has said. You want to think about what they did and sort of add to it somehow. Um, and so, but you need to acknowledge the fact that somebody else has thought about this besides you, and don't pretend that somebody else's ideas are your ideas, because that's not ethical. And so that's why we do this. Yeah, I hope that helps. Um, right. So we all got an idea what it is we're going to be doing, I hope. You know how to do references now. I wouldn't be surprised. I won't say for sure, but I expect that might have come up in a communications course that you're doing, where your communications instructor has insisted that you use some kind of referencing. So as I said, please don't just give me URLs. I don't like that. Do it properly. Go into the references thing and insert a citation, including the author. When did you read? Where? And the author can be a corporate author. You don't have to say Mark Floden. You can say CNAQ, D2L. That's fine. Okay. Silence. Crickets. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mark.
Welcome. I'm